This shouldn't be possible, but it is. This radio literally lets you listen to radio stations on the other side of the planet. And yes, that includes North Korean propaganda stations. My name's Theo, and today I'm going to teach you about shortwave radio. Now, before we can understand how shortwave radio works, we need to first understand how regular radio works. Now, this stuff can get really complicated, so I'm not going to bore you with all the details. It's not like I could even if I wanted to. But at its simplest, a radio transmitter turns audio into electromagnetic waves that can then be picked up by a receiver and turned back into audio. Now, there's a lot of different ways of doing this, but the most common are AM, or amplitude modulation, and FM, or frequency modulation. So basically, a radio wave has two parts: the amplitude, or how tall the wave is, and the frequency, which is basically how long the wave is and how many waves there are. Now, FM radios change the frequency, or how long the waves are, and encode the audio that way, while AM radios change the amplitude, or how big the waves are, and encode the audio that way. Now, usually, FM works at much higher frequencies than AM, which means that the waves are much shorter. Now, usually the more waves you have, the more data you can transmit, which is why FM is usually much higher quality than AM, which works at much lower frequencies and has much less waves. So why wouldn't you just use the much higher frequency FM that has much better quality? AM has much longer waves, and you're probably thinking, well, why does that matter? Well, if you're confuzzled, all you have to do is imagine the radio waves are balls. Now pretend this piece of paper is an obstacle and this P is an FM radio wave. As you can see, it can't even penetrate paper. Now pretend this is a big AM radio wave. As you can see, it makes it through the paper much more easily. And if you're still confuzzled, just think about how you can usually hear your dad talking at a normal volume from much farther away than you can hear your mom, who has a much higher pitched voice, screaming about how you forgot to take out the trash. Now, shortwave is a form of AM radio that operates at very low frequencies and has very long waves. I don't know who named it. That means that it can penetrate obstacles way more easily than FM, but although it's a pretty big ball, it's still not as big as this ball. So that doesn't explain how you can pick up stuff literally on the other side of the world. Well, something really interesting happens at low frequencies. Now, I'm too lazy to try to understand the science behind it, but for whatever reason, really low frequencies can bounce off a certain part of the atmosphere, which basically allows them to skip like a rock and go way farther than a normal radio wave. And this works even better at night, because for whatever reason, the part of the atmosphere that the radio waves bounce off of gets way thinner and way higher, allowing the radio waves to go way higher before bouncing off, which means they can travel a lot farther and they can easily make it all the way around the world. This is an FM radio wave. As you can see, it doesn't go that far. This is a shortwave radio wave. As you can see, it bounces and goes much farther. Now you're probably thinking, that's really cool. So how do I pick up shortwave at home? Well, all you need is a $10 radio off of Amazon. You just have to make sure it's set to the shortwave option, and then you can turn it on, and you're going to want to tune it really slowly to make sure you don't miss anything. I'm picking something up. I don't know what it is, but it's not in English.
Here's the Ceylon National Anthem in a historical recording from Radio Ceylon.
So as you can see, you can pick up all sorts of cool stuff with this little guy, especially at night. I thought it would be cool to try to Google Translate one of these broadcasts to see what the heck they're even talking about. So yeah, that's shortwave radio in a nutshell. This is probably my most baller video yet, so subscribe.